all you wonderful, beautiful people out there. Just a disclaimer off the top, I'm not a doctor, so don't take any of this as medical advice. The following is simply what has worked wonders for me personally. In this video, we tackle the challenge of how to overcome the scourge of anxiety from 3 different but complementary approaches. These strategies apply to all generalized anxiety, but they will also help to alleviate social anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress as well. I'll be making more videos in the future looking into these conditions more closely, so be sure to subscribe. But the following information will benefit your overall psychological well-being, even if it's specifically aimed at targeting generalized anxiety. In the first approach, we look at 5 simple ways of cutting out anxiety-provoking substances and activities from your life. In the second approach, we explore 2 powerful anti-anxiety supplements, namely CBD and microdosing psilocybin mushrooms, as well as some simple dietary improvements to help reduce anxiety. And in the third approach, we check out 9 lasting lifestyle changes that can have a dramatic impact on reducing your anxiety levels. The first approach involves some introspection and asking yourself if there's anything that you can cut out from your life that is making you more anxious. Here are 5 simple subtractions that worked very well for me. 1. Reduce the caffeine intake. Drinking too much coffee can often increase anxiety. 2. Cut out the THC. Now this is controversial because for some people, smoking marijuana actually helps them ease their anxiety. But for many others, including me personally, I found that it really had a big impact on actually increasing my anxiety, especially my social anxiety. If you have a hard time quitting weed, then be sure to check out my video on the best way to quit smoking marijuana. 3. Stop smoking cigarettes. Cigarettes may help ease anxiety during those brief moments that you're smoking and for a short period of time afterwards. But what about in the long run? What happens when you're supposed to be engaged in a conversation, but all you can think about is that next smoke? There's a lingering background anxiety present in nicotine addiction. 4. Limiting internet and social media use. I limited my internet and social media exposure as well. Maybe dedicate a certain time of the day where you give yourself a chance to connect and engage, and then you ignore it for the rest of the day. 5. Avoid obsessively checking in on the stock market. If you have a stock portfolio, stop checking the ticker symbols every single hour. When you get in the habit of relentlessly checking stock prices and social media updates, it starts to become a compulsion, where you begin to feel a constant anxiety-producing urge to keep on checking. If you don't check, your anxiety levels begin to increase. So this leads you down a bad cycle. Additionally, consider avoiding overly processed foods and start learning about what foods increase and decrease inflammation in the body, because there's a strong relationship between stress, inflammation, diet, lifestyle, and mental illness. Now, if the first approach involves what to stop putting into your body, then the second approach involves what to start putting into your body. While I found THC really increased my social anxiety, I found that by taking the pure CBD, it seems to, in and of itself, take the edge off of it. It's not a cure by any means, but I definitely noticed about a 25% reduction in my symptoms when I took between 10 and 20 milligrams of CBD. Microdosing, which involves taking extremely small doses of psychedelics such as psilocybin mushrooms, seems to be very similar to marijuana in that it helps to alleviate some people's anxiety, and for others, it causes even more anxiety to manifest. So I would suggest that when trying microdoses specifically to help with anxiety, that you should consider using a much smaller dose. From firsthand experiences with family and friends, I know that higher doses seem to be more effective in alleviating cluster headaches and migraines and symptoms of depression. But if you primarily struggle with anxiety, then it seems that for many people, even the difference between 50 and 100 milligrams of psilocybin can make the difference between a potent anti-anxiety effect and actually triggering even more anxiety. A true microdose is technically supposed to be subperceptual, which, to be honest, that distinction never really made too much sense to me, because of course you want the psychedelic effects to be subperceptual, but if you didn't perceive any effects at all, then why would you bother taking it in the first place? But I digress. For anxiety, I truly recommend nearly subperceptual doses. Start off with 50 milligrams and see how it goes. Everybody's different, so maybe play around with different doses and different dose schedules and see what's right for you. I personally microdose psilocybin 1 to 2 times per week, and I found that taking between 50 and 75 milligrams seems to be the most effective for me in alleviating my anxiety. However, I actually take about 100 milligrams most of the time, which seems to increase my social anxiety just a tad. But I do this because of the increased antidepressant, anti-PTSD, and boosted creativity that I find when I take 100 milligrams. Also, microdosing psilocybin seems to give many people this uncanny boost, almost like a firm but encouraging kick in the rear end, which helps to support people while they're making lasting and dramatic lifestyle changes, which is something that's incredibly difficult to sustainably pull off. So even if the microdose is not directly reducing your anxiety, then it may help you to establish other habits and lifestyle changes which are likely to alleviate your anxiety. As far as a couple dietary improvements to actively reduce anxiety, one of the most potent anti-inflammatory veggies that I take are broccoli sprouts, which if you don't have the time to grow them yourself, then you can simply buy the extract in capsule form. But be sure to take it with mustard seed so that the myrosinase enzyme in the mustard seed can activate the sulforaphane in the broccoli sprout, which is the active anti-inflammatory compound. Now, there's a great Joe Rogan podcast episode with Dr. Rhonda Patrick where she talks about all the benefits of broccoli sprouts. I would also recommend checking out my video on microdosing the Stamets stack for a great de-stress and anti-inflammation ritual which can further help to alleviate anxiety. Also, by taking a fish oil supplement with no residual mercury in it, such as the Nutri-C brand or various forms of krill oil, which naturally have less mercury because of reduced biomagnification, or by simply adding more fish to your diet, this can also help. The third approach that we use to minimize our anxiety consists of making 9 lifestyle changes. 1. Take ice showers. At the end of my shower every morning, I turn on the water as cold as it gets, and I suffer the pain for about a minute. This not only helps to wake you up extremely rapidly, but it also helps to take the edge off of both anxiety and depression. It's not a cure, but if we add up lots of small little fixes like this, which individually only slightly reduce anxiety or slightly reduce depression, then the total effects can be substantial when everything is superimposed and positively feeding back on itself to further reduce anxiety. Ice showers have many well-documented physical and mental health benefits as well. 2. Practice yoga. The famous positive psychology book Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi recommends yoga as a powerful way to induce flow states. These are states where time seems to stop and the mind ceases wandering as you become fully immersed in the present moment and fully engaged in whatever activity. Yoga alleviates anxiety by inducing such flow states, as well as being a form of physical exercise. 3. Meditation. We amplify our anxiety when we constantly worry about the future and the past, and when we engage in endless self-criticism. Meditation will help you to increase your control over your monkey mind and overcome excess worry and doubt. For more information on meditation, check out my videos on the psychology of Vipassana meditation retreats, and also my introduction to a new form of meditation called intellectual meditation, which I derived from Alan Watts, and it's quickly become one of my go-tos. 4. Be productive. Whenever I go through phases of being totally unproductive, I find my anxiety levels shoot through the roof. You don't need to always run around like a chicken with its head cut off, but there is a value in feeling like you are growing and moving in a positive direction day in and day out. Even if you're unemployed, you can still be productive around the home and other aspects of your life. 5. Take up a hobby. Find something that interests you and try to dedicate even 15 to 20 minutes a day towards it of structured, disciplined practice. My hobby is music, and whenever I practice it, it's almost like taking a dose of anti-anxiety medication. Again, positive growth and development seem to have an anti-anxiety effect. When I feel like I'm stagnating, my anxiety levels always begin ramping up. 6. Stay active. Keep moving your body. Walking, running, hiking, working out. Our bodies evolve to face extreme environments with intense demands upon us, both physically and mentally. And it's no wonder that when we sit around all day in an office chair and then watching the TV when we come home, that we become anxious and fidgety. 7. Nature therapy. Try spending more time out in nature. There's a whole host of research which shows that nature exposure reduces anxiety, depression, mind wandering, and also boosts the immune system. 8. The Stamets stack ritual. Try to do the little ritual I go through at the end of my video on microdosing psilocybin with the Stamets stack. I try to do that ritual at least once a week, and it's had borderline miraculous results in terms of improving my psychological well-being. 9. The object of anxiety versus the subject of anxiety. Check out my video on how to overcome anger, because the technique I discuss, which is derived from Vipassana insight meditation, can also be used to help process anxiety. If you can learn to shift your focus from the object that is making you anxious to the internal sensations associated with the anxiety, and learn how to reframe it as excitement, which shares the same subjective qualities with anxiety, this is going to be a game changer. This process will especially help you if there's something specific that you're particularly anxious about, like some sort of meeting or presentation or job interview or something like that. Honestly, there's so much more to get into, but this should be a good first teaser. Hopefully, everyone is able to walk away with at least 1 or 2 small little tidbits from this video. And stay tuned because I'll be releasing another video shortly looking at the 7 most effective strategies for tackling social anxiety in particular, which comes from a text that I think does a fantastic job at synthesizing evolutionary and biological approaches to psychology with the health and social approaches. So be sure to check out that one when it comes. Good luck and take care.